I've been going through some of my comments on YouTube and some of my emails that I've received over the past year or two, and I just wanted to make a video to address those questions on where I was for such a long period of time and why I left YouTube for a while and what happened with my walk with Jesus during that time. So basically, to sum it up, um, I had a pretty close relationship with another sister in the Lord. And basically, to make a long story short, one day, this person kind of just all of a sudden didn't really want to be associated with me anymore. And I didn't know why. And I had asked them why. And they didn't really give me any reasons. They just kept telling me that I needed to ask Jesus. And so that like really confused me and really like aggravated me and frustrated me. And I continued to pray about it for a really long time, and I never really got any super solid answers. It wasn't until maybe like 6 months to a year later that Jesus really showed me um, what happened in that whole situation and why it was necessary for me to go through that. Basically, what he showed me from that was, okay, so let me back up. When that all happened, with that person, it kind of just made me question my faith and made me question, like, how could another believer someone that I truly did believe to be a sister in Christ, and I still do, I still believe this person is, and I've spoken to them before. We just aren't as close as we were. But anyways, so it just, yeah, it really like threw me off track, and it just like made me question kind of all of my beliefs about Jesus, even though I knew what Jesus has spoken to me and shown me. It basically just made me like question everything, and it actually made me like mad at Jesus because I also wasn't getting any answers from him on what happened. So it kind of just like put me in a really bad place and it was almost like a stumbling block for me. Um, and so at that time I couldn't really make any videos that would have been useful, I feel like, for anybody. And I really just didn't have any messages to give or to put out there. And even like if I occasionally I would try to make a video on something that I had heard from Jesus, and it just never like came out right, and it just sounded way off, and it seemed and felt really forced, even if the message like that I really had from Jesus. It didn't seem like genuine to me. It just seemed really forced, and like I was basically just putting it on YouTube, like just because I thought that was what I needed to do. But I didn't like actually feel led to be sharing anything at that time. Um, so yeah, basically that's pretty much what happened up until the time that I found out, that Jesus really showed me that I needed to have my faith fully. I needed to have him fully as my foundation and not anybody else, regardless of what I see another brother or sister doing, or um, even, if they may do something to us that's like harmful, we still need to forgive them, and we need to just keep looking to Jesus and not let that shake our faith, and just pray for them. So yeah, that was one thing that he showed me through that whole experience, was just that my faith 100% and totally needed to be built upon him and not anybody else. And he basically kind of put me in a place where I was like really alone during that time. But he did that again so I could strengthen my faith and my foundation in him, knowing that he was the only one I needed to look to. Like, you can't even look to other brothers and sisters for your faith or to strengthen you. I mean, it's great to have each other, and yes, we do encourage each other, but at the end of the day, you need to make sure your foundation is built on Jesus and that you actually are hearing from him. and he's the one guiding you. And that's not to say that I wasn't hearing from him, because I definitely was. It was just a part of my walk that I had to go through. Um, so yeah, I went through that. And then pretty much after that time, I honestly, I didn't, like I said, I didn't really have any good messages that I felt needed to be shared. And during this time, I was like working at my job still, and my boss was like on my Facebook, and a lot of my coworkers were on my Facebook, and I would be sharing all my messages there. Um, and I started to like witness to them a lot about it in my office setting, and it just started to become a lot for me to handle. And then also people were like leaving me like negative comments and kind of like attacking me personally, or attacking my testimony, or just attacking me for saying something wrong, or just constantly wanting like me to back everything up that I'm saying. And I'm not saying that I can't back everything up that I'm saying with scriptures or anything like that, but it just began to get really overwhelming for me, to have a lot of the attacks like from other people and from the devil. And so I just decided that I didn't want to subject myself to that anymore. So I left social media altogether. It wasn't just YouTube that I left. I mean, I left Facebook, I left everything. And I really just had to like focus on my relationship with Jesus during that time. I learned a lot. I can't even like say everything that I learned, obviously, because it was such a long period of time. Um, but it was really necessary for me to go through that time, even though it was really rough. But I will say also that I never backslid. I didn't turn back to the world. I still continued going with Jesus, even though I had some really low points in my walk where I really questioned, like, if I ever met Jesus, and I questioned my faith a lot. I still heard from him, and he still was working in my life a lot during that time, and there were ups and there were downs. But to make a long story short, I still was walking with Jesus. I never turned back to the world during that time. I wasn't publicizing anything like to do with my relationship with Jesus. And then I ended up getting pregnant, and that took a lot out of me. And now, I care for my toddler, and I'm pregnant again. So I just kind of have been trying to focus on being a good mom, and being a good wife, and being a godly woman in all the areas that Jesus has already assigned me and called me to be. Um, and I just never really felt, I had asked Jesus before if he wanted me to get back on YouTube and share messages, but I just never felt that I needed to. I never felt drawn to do it, and he had never told me specifically to do it. So I didn't do anything with it, and I never said to myself, I'm never ever going to get back on YouTube again. I just told myself that if Jesus wants me to get back on there, he'll make it clear to me when. Um, so yeah, the other night, I actually did receive a dream from Jesus in regards to speaking his truth. And what he basically told me in the dream was, there was an old person that I've knew like 10 years, almost 10 years ago. And I didn't even know this person very well. I don't talk to them. I haven't talked to them. I wasn't close to them when I knew them, but basically they appeared in my dream, and they gave me a note. And what it said on the note was, they had basically written that they were watching my videos, and they were listening to my testimonies about Jesus, and that they knew that I was speaking the truth of Jesus, and that they know that I have been called to be a trumpet blower, and that I need to return to my position. Basically, I need to return to my work for Jesus. Um, and so that was pretty clear, obviously, the message in the dream. I think that what that person symbolized was all of the people that I don't know, and I don't know very well, or I don't even know that are watching my videos. That symbolizes just the people that that are listening and I'm planting seeds or watering or whatever, these messages that Jesus is giving me, that they are useful and people are watching and people are listening, even if I don't see it or even if I'm getting attacked. Um, the people that are meant to see it are still seeing it and hearing it. So I think that was the significance of that person that I don't ever talk to being the one who told me that in the dream. Um, but yeah, that's basically why I left YouTube and why I'm now starting, or I'm going to be posting whatever Jesus leads me to share um, from here on out. And I also want to say that I'm sorry that I just kind of left and didn't say anything on why I left, and I wasn't responsive at all. It was honestly just really difficult for me to get past what happened, like with that sister, and then like trust other believers or Christians because of what happened. And I just didn't want to subject myself to another relationship where I could get hurt so badly like I did. And it really affected my walk. Like I said, it really shook me up for a while, and I really had to reground myself in Jesus after that happened. And so I kind of just used it as a defense mechanism to like not, basically, I just didn't want to put myself out there anymore with Jesus. Even though I was still following him, I didn't want to put myself out there publicly. And even now, it is scary at times and fearful at times, but Jesus has made it very clear that he has called me to warn people of his truth and warn that his coming is very close. So I need to just listen to Jesus and not worry about what other people are saying or what other people think. So for now, I'm gonna be leaving my comments turned off, but if at some point in the future it starts to get too much for me to handle, then I probably will disable them again. But that remains to be seen. Obviously, like I said, I'm just trying to do what Jesus has told me clearly that I need to do. And I also just wanted to kind of share a little bit about where I was for so long and why did I leave. Um, so yeah, I hope that that answers your questions. If you have other questions on why I left YouTube, or maybe I might be making like individual testimonies about things that have happened during that time. I just can't remember every single thing, like I said, that happened over that time frame, because I think it was like 2 years maybe. So that was kind of like a really condensed version, and like the main point of why I just left and didn't return for a while. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. But mostly just go to Jesus because he knows all things and he will lead us in all things. And I am solely only coming back on this channel to encourage people to get right with him and repent. I mean, that's all that matters. So have a great day and Jesus bless you.